This is the BBQ Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
The BBQ Central Radio Show is being brought to you by the BBQ Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that the BBQ Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DiFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DiFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDiFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher.
And by iGrill. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that allows you to monitor the temperature of your food and smoker or grill from up to 200 feet away. Using the free iGrill app for your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices, you can set preferred temperatures, and your smart device will alert you when it's ready. It's perfect for cooking steaks to perfection or low and slow smokers overnight. Head to iGrill Inc., that's the letter I, grillinc.com to learn more. And by BBQ'rs Delight Wood Pellets, the barbecue wood pellet choice of competition cooks and backyard hacks just like me. The perfect blend of 2/3 oak and 1/3 flavor wood gives you that right BTU burn and flavor that you're looking to get all over your meat with smoky goodness. Visit bbqrsdelight.com. And by R&O Smokers, a custom pit builder using innovation and art in each of their cutting-edge, offset, and vault-style barbecue pits. Located in the heart of Texas near Fort Worth, Granbury has been the home to R&O Smokers since the beginning. R&O Smokers has continued to widen its range using visionary planning both on the design level and the quality of craftsmanship to bring their customers the finest custom pits on the market. Please get in contact with Billy, B-I-L-L-I-E _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or Tony at Tony _RO Smokers at yahoo.com or visit their main website, the letter O, RNO Smokers.com. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you're really going to love. Cooking with pellets. Green Mountain Grills are widely available across the country. Top-of-the-line manufacturing, but not the highest in price. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to get started on your pellet adventure today.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. The show that talks about all things important to the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Rapidly becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening. Should you see fit, you want to jump in on the show, more than happy to have you. It's a toll-free call, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Everything else you want to find out about the show, how to advertise, links, sponsors, recent posts about whatever. You can find it at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening tonight, if you didn't get the newsletter. Coming up in about 13 minutes from... coming up in about 13 minutes from now. Longest-running sponsor of the show, championship pitmaster, Bob Trudnak of the BBQ Guru coming in. Believe it or not. 34 minutes from now, a championship pitmaster, guy who has a fabulous pork product, and vying for Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year. It's a tight race. We talked about it weeks ago for KCBS for the last couple weeks about their hot race. FBA has our own hot race, and our very own Jim Elser of Sweet Smoke Q will be joining us to talk about the big race that is taking place this coming weekend for his team. Just as close, if not closer in some respects, than the KCBS race. So you thought we were all chocked full of goodness last week with all of the events that were going on KCBS. We flip it right back around, go southeast on that ass, and go FBA Team of the Year race, which will be decided this weekend. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then we'll move into the second hour. Joining me around 10:14, or in an hour and 2 minutes from now, pitmaster of Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew and grand champion of the 2013 King of the Smokers contest, Joe Beland joins us here on the show. Joey! So we're locked and loaded. He doesn't know it yet, but he might be sticking around for 2 segments because, hey, that's what I do. I entice people to stay a little bit longer, get people to do things that maybe they weren't anticipating for you, and, yeah, stuff like that. Stuff like that. 877-448-0433. Greg at the BBQ Centralshow.com. Your 2 bits of contact information. So jam-packed. By the way, if you don't have a subscription to the newsletter and that's something that you want to get, go to the main website and look over to the top right of the navigation on that right-hand toolbar, and you'll see it. It's all right there. As a matter of fact, I am going to use high technology and show you right here where it is. If you go to the main website, you can see it right here, and you'll see a bunch of nice butts, so forth, as we wait for the actual page to load. Boy, this internet blows over here. You see it right underneath where it says Listen Live Stream. Right underneath it says sign up for our newsletter. And then you go ahead and plop in your information right there and hit submit, and you will be confirmed just that easily for Barbecue Central Show newsletter. And on top of all of that, just a little thank you from me to you for signing up for the newsletter. You get my very highly coveted homemade barbecue sauce recipe. I'm not kidding. You get it. It's a gift from me to you. Say thanks. Thanks for taking the time to sign up. All right, don't forget, if you are watching this show or listening to this show right now, do me a solid on the social medias. Make a Facebook post, make a Twitter post, or tweet, as they call it. Let everybody know that, A, you're listening to the audio stream on the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also get the audio through smartphone applications such as TuneIn Radio. Once you download that app, it's free for iOS, Android, BlackBerry, and so forth. Once you have it installed on your phone, then search BBQ Central. You'll find it, add it to your favorites, and you can stream the show. Not only live Tuesdays from 9 to 11, but after hours, you get replays of all the shows that have taken place in 2013, so you're sure to catch up on something that you might have missed otherwise. If you like the video stuff, you can go to OutdoorCookingChannel.com, which has long been our simulcast video station partner guru for years and years. And don't forget, you can also catch the show live on Roku as well, which is Internet Protocol television, kind of a newer technology that's just really starting to catch wind over the last year or so. I'll go to Outdoor Cooking Channel, get that app there in the Roku App Store. And then there is a live streaming option. It's the first it's the first option that you have in the apps, in the Outdoor Cooking Channel app. And that's the way you can consume the show. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the show through iTunes to get all of the audio replays should you see fit. If you want video archives, a number of different places, obviously Outdoor Cooking Channel. You can also go to YouTube, barbecue, BARBECUE, the numeral 4, the letter U, so youtube.com/barbecue for you. Of course, you can get all of the videos and audio replays right on the main website as well, Barbecue Central website. So no reason you should ever miss anything on the show, ever. Just ever. I thought maybe this week we would have our final follow-up conversation with A.J. Levon about mashed potatoes. However, no, not going to happen. That's fine. He's a young boy, just growing to yearn for the wiles of internet television. So we'll give him a pass on this one. Besides, why do we want to talk to a kid that's going to sit there and say that he don't like potatoes? Screw that.
Get that big stuff out of here.
I don't want to hear that I didn't change the youth of America. I'm here to change the youth of America. America. I did get an email from Adam Pace. Dear Greg, I work in an office. Did a search on my iPod for barbecue. Found a few different podcasts. Listened to yours and several others. Yours I enjoyed the most and seemed to be more relevant to what I was interested in. So I started listening to your podcast from the oldest I could find. I'm currently finishing up 2011. And after a while, I realized you do the show live with a chat. So about 3 weeks ago, I logged in and have been watching live ever since. Biggest issue is convincing my fiance I'm not nuts for listening to a barbecue podcast show. Hey, Adam, I hear you. Best advice for you? Get a new fiance. If she thinks you're nuts for listening to this show, she's got a problem with herself and potentially others. You fall into the others category, Adam. I'm praying for you. Really, I am. No, I'm sure. Look, nobody's significant other finds it more odd than your humble host, who has been doing a live show for now almost 7 years or something like that. Adam, I feel your pain. Actually, my wife doesn't think I'm nuts. She just wonders where I go for 2 hours on Tuesday night. I said, hey, it's none of your business. Mind it. I'm about to go down and do my thing. You do your thing, because I'm going to do my thing. That's what I'm talking about. So thanks to Adam for writing in. Realizing, like so many others, well, a couple things that we have found out here through this email. As many times as I have said it, and maybe this is something I need to just add in the opening text, this show is not, a podcast is like something that has been either pre-recorded or recorded live, and people are listening to it after the fact. This show, the Barbecue Central Show, is a live show that happens every Tuesday from 9 to 11. Period. Originating from the interwebs in somebody else's basement right now. More news on that later. So this is a live show. I also, in conjunction with the live show, am recording it so I can put it up as a podcast for the people that can't tune in live. But first and foremost, this is a live show. Whatever you hear on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, it's not pre-recorded, it's not edited. Nothing is taking out of it unless it was a complete disaster, which hasn't happened yet. Knock wood. So as you hear this show unfold, if you subscribe to podcasts, that's the only way you listen to it. This show happened live and direct from Cleveland between the hours of 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. Yeah, baby. All right, let me talk to you about the BBQ Guru, because we're going to be talking to the BBQ Guru after this break. Longest-running sponsor of the show, creators of automatic pit temperature control technology. If you have been considering as a gift, maybe for yourself or a loved one, whatever, automatic pit temperature control devices, why would you go anywhere else? I'm often wondering myself, if you are looking for this kind of technology, why would you go somebody else? As I've said many times before, the BBQ Guru, the creators of this technology. So why would you want to go anywhere else? I don't know. The BBQ Guru is a simple in concept. It's basically a unit that is going to mount to your cooker, and through a series of microprocessors and fans will keep your pit temperature at whatever you set it at. So if you want to have it run at 250, set it at 250. You want to run it at 225, run it at 225. Now, there's a number of different models to choose from, so depending on, how geeky you want to get with it, depending on how technically savvy you want to get with it, you can get the CyberQ Wi-Fi. Might cost you a little bit more up front, but how about never having to get out of bed to A, check the pit temperature, B, check your internal meat temperatures, and then on top of all that, make adjustments from the smartphone, make adjustments from your tablet, make adjustments from your laptop computer, if you will. Cooking too fast, ramp the temperature down. Cooking too slow, ramp the temperature up. All can be done from your smart device. Just need a hotspot. Or, if you don't need that level of technology, you can get the DigiQ 2DX. You can get the Party Q, which is your easiest point of entry price-wise into automatic pit temperature control devices, $129 for most models. Add an additional $10 for the ceramic cookers because you need an extra modifier for that bottom damper. But really, you're off and running from there. I affectionately refer to the Party Q as the prostitute of automatic pit temperature control devices because it goes from kettles to bullets to ceramic cookers. It gets around. Self-contained package, run on AA batteries. So here's what you need to do. You got to go to the website, thebbqguru.com. That's thebbqguru.com. Or call them toll-free, 800-288-GURU. 800-288-GURU. They'll make sure you're outfitted with exactly what you need to get you up and running right out of the box. Do it now. TheBBQGuru.com or 800-288-GURU. On top of all that, we'll be talking with Bob Trudnak right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. My first guest tonight, a highly successful pitmaster, also happens to be the director of marketing at the Barbecue Guru, which can be found at thebbqguru.com. Let's go ahead, head over to the hotline, and welcome good friend of this show, longtime sponsor of this show, Bob Trudnak.
That's the bar.
All right. Let's wait a second. Oh, hold on now. Got me a little voicemail. Yeah, mic's on. Okay. I swear, at least once a show, I forget to turn on that damn microphone. I thought that for sure was the one time. Because I don't know if you can see my little earpiece there. I have to do a little pass-through between the device that makes this. It's a wireless ear monitor, whatever the hell they call it. But in order for me to use that properly, I have to run a patch cable in. And, man, all right. Bob Trudnak, Barbecue Guru. No! And now I got to go back through the damn emails. Let's see what we got here. It was a little earlier in the day. Bob. Where is Bob? I can't find him. All right. You know, the best thing about Gmail is, man, you can search anything. Anything. I don't have him. It's gone. Gone. All right. We'll just keep trying them here. See what happens. In case you were wondering, last week in the second hour, we had quite the substantial conversation with Tim Grant from True Bud Barbecue. If you were living under a rock, I didn't get you excited enough to be... If I didn't get you excited enough to be excited about how the last well, not the last KCBS contest, but the one that was taking place in Calhoun, Georgia, shook out. Just in case you didn't know, Tim Grant ends up reserving there and wins Team of the Year. Yeah. So I'm sure Tim and or Donnie looking for an outright GC, but the reserve good enough to get Tim Grant over the hump. Didn't really add to the points, but they go back to, it's very convoluted at that point. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and race over to the hotline and welcome in friend of the show, Bob Trudnak. Bob, how are you, buddy?
Hey, Greg. How are you tonight?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Bob. Always appreciate you making time for the show. A couple different places, I guess, that we can start tonight. If you don't mind, we'll go ahead and start on the competition side of things. We're towards the end of the year, obviously just a couple weeks left here before we close out 2013. If you could just kind of give us a summatory look at the BBQ Gurus competition season and, how you guys ended up and where did that meet your expectation?
I think we had a great season. I'm not one of those teams that, chasing points at the end of the year for Team of the Year. We only do, 10 or 12 contests a year, but it's one of those things that I'm obsessed with. I love competition. It's a big part of my life. We got some grands. We got a bunch of reserves. We did a lot of top tens. And we finished the year great at the World Food Championship. Got first in ribs. So I think it was a great season for us.
If job and money and whatever was no object, could you see Bob Trudnak hitting the circuit to make a run at a Team of the Year potentially, if you had your druthers?
If it were just me, out there alone doing competitions, and that's all I was doing, yeah, I would do it in a heartbeat. But, life takes over. We got the BBQ Guru business to run. I have a catering business. The kids, the wife, everything going on. So it's not a reality for me right now, but maybe someday.
I'm asking you to speculate here, of course, but do you think if you're going to be doing Team of the Year now, you're going to be looking at probably a minimum of 30 to 35 contests. You're looking at a better part of, maybe 85% weekends traveled. Do you think at some point, maybe during the middle or towards the near of that, the near end of that season, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of freaking weekends to travel?
Yes. I say that to myself now, and I only, I'm on the road every other weekend, April, May into October. And then by the end of October, I'm like, wow, I kind of can't wait for the break. But now, it's middle of December, I can't wait to get started again.
Bob Trudnak joining me here on the show, thebbqguru.com, of course, the website. Bob, you briefly mentioned World Food Championships and how you took first place in ribs over there. That is an event over the last, this is the second time it's happened and really has seen huge rave reviews, even from the very first World Food Championships that took place a year ago, and then fast forward to this year. It seemed to logistically go better. Teams were maybe out in the open more than they were last year. You've seen a lot of competitions. You've taken place in really big ones and smaller ones. Where does the World Food Championship kind of fit into how you see competition barbecue or just food competition growing into the future?
I got to tell you, there's no competition like it that I've ever been to. You got the whole barbecue aspect, but then there's 6 other challenges. And then they plop it right in the middle of Old Vegas. So the experience of just being in Old Vegas by itself is amazing and overwhelming. And then you got the barbecue challenge, and you're seeing the guys who were there for the bacon and the chili and the sandwich competitions. It's just an incredible experience. So just being a part of it is pretty amazing. So then to actually get a call is even that's icing on the cake there.
When you turned in the ribs, did you think at that point that you were looking at first place ribs? Were they that good?
No, I wasn't. I know when I hit my mark, and I hope for the best. But when you're in a competition with a group of competitors that are that great. You don't think you're not planning on first place. You're just hoping to get a call. You know you've done the job of cooking the food the way you want it. You know it hits the mark, and you're just hoping for the best.
Bob Trudnick is my guest. Bob, as far as 2014, you still a similar amount of contests that you're going to be looking to do, and obviously promoting the BBQ Guru products?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at maybe 2 or 3 more contests than I have done previously. And I'm looking to fill up the beginning of my year. Typically, March, April, there's not too much going on. We do a couple in May. June's a little light, but we're going to do a few contests early. There's actually a contest in Fred's name, Shotgun Fred, who was the inventor of the BBQ Guru.
Yep.
And as most of us know, he passed away a couple of years ago of ALS. But his friends down in Texas are putting a competition together the last weekend of February. And it's the Shotgun Fred first annual barbecue showdown. So we're going to be there competing. We're going to be there selling product. We're going to be there talking about BBQ Guru and Fred and barbecue in general. We're hoping to get as many people as we can.
How great would that be to show up at that first-time event, namesake of the company, creator of the company, and then for you guys to go out and win that? Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be awesome, but that's not even what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about getting as many people together, celebrate Fred, cook some barbecue, and just have a great time.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a great location for it, for sure, instead of kind of up where we are right now, where it's 5 degrees at best.
Huntsville, Texas in February is going to be 60, 65 degrees. It'll be perfect weather.
Perfect weather, no doubt about it. All right, so we'll be looking for the BBQ Guru on the 2014 competition circuit. Let me segue here just a second, as oddly as this is, but Bob Trudnick, the BBQ Guru, and barbecue sauce got to be like the perfect hand-in-glove thing. What is going on with this sauce, Bob? When did this come out, and how long has this been in the works?
All right, so the barbecue sauce is something I've been working on for a while. I'm always dabbling in the kitchen. I'm always trying to create the perfect balance of flavors. When I do competition barbecue, I use a combination of barbecue rubs that are already made. They're already out there. Without getting into detail, Dizzy Pig, 3 Eyes, Birds and Bones, local smoke rubs. They're all great rubs.
Yep.
Use them in different amounts to get what we want out of our flavors. And over time, I've been developing a sauce that I think has the perfect balance. And I've used commercial sauces, and I've done well with them. But I wanted my own sauce that goes well with competition barbecue. And I've developed that. And it came onto the market about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm getting it out in the barbecue stores locally and, throughout the country. So I'm very, very happy with it. It has our catering name, Barbecue Bob's Having a Barbecue, but it is the official sauce of the BBQ Guru cooking team, and I'm using it in competition, and I hope people will give it a try.
As far as flavor profile, if I stick my finger in it, what are the first things that are going to jump off my tongue?
Okay, you stick your finger in it, you put it in your mouth, you're going to get hit with that little bit of sweet, and then you're going to take this kind of ride into the herbs and spices, and it's going to finish with a really nice little vinegar tang at the end. But I'm trying to balance it so that, nobody can kind of pick it apart and say, well, it has too much of this or not enough of that. I'm trying to give you that perfect balance of flavors all the way through.
Are you trying, when you're making a sauce, especially if you're looking at, obviously it can be an all-around sauce, doesn't have to be just for competition, but you're a competitor. Is it going to be a sauce where if I didn't use the rubs that you had mentioned, or maybe I make my own homemade rub, it's something that I'm going to be able to work with to be able to use with a multitude of different rubs?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's tricks, and I don't think anybody uses one sauce out of a bottle and puts it on their barbecue. There's little tweaks you can make to help balance for what you're doing with your rub flavors. But I think no matter what you're using, this will be a nice compliment.
Bob Trudnak joining me here on the show, the BBQGuru.com. Can you get the sauce on the BBQ Guru website, Bob?
You certainly can. You can get it on the BBQ Guru website, and you can also get it on Barbecue Bob's Having a Barbecue.
Easy enough. You can get it. And are you selling just by jar? Do you go also make like gallon jugs and stuff like that, or what's your size option, I guess?
I do. I make. I have 19-ounce bottles, and you can buy them singly. You can buy them in 3-packs, or we sell gallons of barbecue sauce for people who are going to use more of it. Whether you're a competition person or you're a caterer, we sell it in gallons.
Now, obviously, going well with sauce is meat. Obviously, and you are also kind of opening a new meat store, or it's been open for a little while. What can you tell me about the meat store that you have going on?
Yeah, I've got this great meat sponsor out of the Bronx, New York. It's Hunts Point. And they're supplying beautiful Wagyu briskets. They're supplying fantastic ribs, direct pork, and they're sponsoring me. And I wanted to be able to share that with other people in our region who want to cook quality meat for competition. So we developed this little competition meat store on our website, and you can order the meats through me, and they'll get shipped direct through Hunts Point in the Bronx and directly to your door. So it's very convenient. It's very high quality. They're hand-picked for competition barbecue. And they also have a bunch of great steaks and other meats there.
Now, let's make one thing clear, Bob, because obviously not everybody that listens to the show is a competition person, yours truly included. Just because you don't compete doesn't mean that you shouldn't try some of the higher-end meat to really class up the end product, even if it's a hometown barbecue.
That's right. I absolutely agree with that. You try the difference between your run-of-the-mill, choice brisket, and you treat yourself to a Wagyu, you're going to see an unbelievable difference. And I think you need to be able to, as even a backyard cook, try both and see the difference for yourself. Cook them at the same time, same temperature, same method, and see the difference for yourself. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And you gotta treat yourself once in a while.
Do you have a specific website for the meat shop up?
Well, it's bbqguru.com/Hunts Point. But if you go to our homepage, on the top right, you'll see competition barbecue meats, and you can click right there and get right into the shop.
All right, so lastly, before I let you go, Bob, and I appreciate the time tonight, obviously it wouldn't be a conversation about the BBQ Guru without learning any new product updates or potentially any new products that'll be hitting the market for 2014. What can you tell us about what's happening business-wise at the Guru?
Well, I hate to say it, but we have a couple of things in the works. It's still under lock and key.
Bob, this is the line that you tell me every time you're on the freaking show. Things are in the works. What the hell? Well, at least things are always in the works, right?
They are in the works.
Yeah.
When we came out with the CyberQ Wi-Fi, I made the announcement. We came out with the Onyx Oven, I made the announcement.
Yep.
We're pretty close to making some great announcements.
Would you say that are they industry changing, or are they just like upgrades to existing stuff?
We're upgrading the party queue, but again, I don't want to get into detail.
Right.
And there will be a new smoker on the market in 2014.
All right.
That's what I'll tell you.
New smoker coming up for 2014. All right. If you want to find out about anything, of course, visit the website, the BBQ Central. Oh, my God. TheBBQGuru.com, pardon me. And I tell people this when I do the read for the sponsorship portion of this with you guys. You know, if you get to the website and you feel like, oh, my God, this is a little intimidating, I don't know which one to buy, always feel free to call 800-288-GURU and talk to one of you guys, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And I want to just say one more thing. You know, we had a wonderful experience sponsoring the American Barbecue Tour last year. And there's some big things to come in 2014 for all you Barbecue Guru users out there. We're ready to give you a little back. So look for us.
All right, so it sounds like not only is there new products, but there could be a big announcement coming as well, to be determined.
That's right.
This is Bob Trudnak. You can find him at thebbqguru.com. Of course, you can call 800-288-GURU. Bob, always appreciate the time, and have a great holiday. Thanks for coming on tonight, buddy.
All right, Greg. You take care.
You got it. Soon. There he is. Bob Trudnak. This guy is class all the way. I don't want to sit here and brag on one of my sponsors, but a long time ago, I was doing this show in just podcast form. That's all it was. I was calling somebody at a designated time whenever it worked for us. We would long form an interview, and then I would painstakingly go through and kind of piece together the best 20 or 30 minutes of an hour and a half long conversation. Like, it got to the point where I was sitting there and editing out ums and ahs. That's one of the reasons I started doing the live show, so I could concentrate on my own to hear myself. Am I doing ums? Am I doing ahs? When should I take a pause? Stop. Take a pause. Find the word, then talk, so you don't go, The nervous fill, as I call it. And I said, hey, Bob, going to be doing a live show. Do you want to jump over from the podcast sponsorship to the live show sponsorship? And he said, yeah, sign me up right now. Can we do it tomorrow? Or can we do it yesterday? Is that possible? He's been the most loyal sponsor of the show because he was there from day one. Literally from day one, back on the old Barbecue for You podcast. You go back and listen to the ads at the top of those. Fantastic. Always appreciate that. And always great conversation. Got a good insight. Got some new products coming. Got some upgrades coming to existing products, and a big announcement coming next year or sometime to be determined and or scooped on this show. So look for that. All right, folks, it's just a mere couple weeks away. Christmas is coming. You are continuing to procrastinate. Bad idea.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Visit StephenDiFranco.com right now. While you're listening to the show or watching the show, get your phone, get your tablet, whatever. Go to Stephen DiFranco, DiFranco, StephenDiFranco.com. And then peruse the inventory kind of quickly now because, time's drawing near. And then give Steve a call, 440-943-2700, 440-943-2700, right? Ask for Steve if he doesn't answer the phone. Say, hey, Steve, my name is Pete, Tom, Susie, Tim, Joe, Shit the Ragman, and I am a Centralite. I was just on your website. I saw this watch or this necklace or these earrings. I need a ring, something. What can you do for me? Don't get caught going to the chain stores that have the huge overhead, that have people looking to just sell you into something that's more expensive that you don't really need. Don't get sold. Get educated. Let Steve ask you questions. Let him learn exactly what you're looking for. Then let him make some recommendations on what might meet those needs. And more importantly than that, your budget. Now, when you're ordering from Steve, especially with the watches, you get that extra year warranty that you wouldn't normally get from anywhere else. He can customize colors of watches. The lugs on some of those watches, only he can do it. Batteries for free for life. Free engraving, free shipping. So he's going to be saving you not only on the retail price, but he's going to be saving you on the shipping price as well. That's why I only deal with Steve. You should too. 440-943-2700. StephenDiFranco.com. Time is running out. Literally, time is running out for Christmas. Don't screw up like you did last year, you son of a bitch. Go to StephenDiFranco.com. Be happy. Get laid. Yeah. We're back with FBA talk right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All right, gang, the past few weeks we have been heavy into the KCBS Team of the Year race. Well, in the southeast portion of the country, there is one just as hot, if not hotter, than the KCBS race. The Florida Barbecue Association will crown a champ this coming weekend in Perry, Florida, at the Southern Pines Blues and Barbecue Contest. My next guest currently in the lead, but by the very narrowest of margins. Here to give us a look ahead to the contest coming weekend, pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q. Let's welcome back to the show, Jim Elser. Jim, how are you, bud?
I'm good. How are you, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Jim. Jim, do you not have a camera on tonight?
I did have it. I see.
I don't have one, though. Can't see me, but I can't.
Hey,
look at this.
Technology.
Hey, there is that guy.
That?
Back out on the lanai.
Hey, I'm in my shorts, by the pool.
Yeah, I think, Jim, you just like to be on Skype video so you can shove it up everybody else's ass that you're on the lanai and we're freezing here in 10-degree weather in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think about 95% of the country is in the frozen tundra.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, my parents live in Bradenton, Florida, if you're familiar.
Oh yeah, not too far, about an hour and a half for me.
All right,
I live
so
right in the center of the state for me.
I was just talking to them maybe 2 hours ago, and they're like, "Oh well," my mom's. Greg, I heard it's so cold up there in Cleveland. Well, it's just the opposite down here. It's 85 degrees. It's so hot. I can't hardly believe it. I'm like, yeah, it must suck to be 85 degrees.
It really does.
Yeah. Well, forget about all of that and my terrible mother's impression that I'm going to get yelled at for off air. Jim, we just saw a KCBS Team of the Year race wrap up this past weekend in Calhoun, Georgia. True Blood wins that crown. This coming weekend, the FBA will crown their champ. You're currently sitting atop that fray right now, but you have Hot Wachulas and Big Poppas Country Kitchen within 3 points of you. I guess before we get into that, can you kind of recap how you feel your year has gone to this point?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, if you asked me the first of the year if I would have thought I would be in this position, I would have probably said you're full of shit. We went into the year, end of last year, we finished ninth in the FBA, and our goal this year was to be top five. I thought that was kind of realistic, but wasn't for sure. We were cooking good at the end of last year. Going into the first of the 2013, we changed some things up on our flavor profile and actually went the other way. We were getting some top 10, but we got some 10ths, 9ths, that kind of thing. So I went back to my notes and looked at figured out what I was doing. So I went back to my same flavor profile that I was doing at the end of last year, and we about in March we hit a hot streak. We were like on fire.
Jim Elser joining me here on the show. Sweet Smoke and then the letter Q.com, obviously the website. Jim, I'm giving away Sweet Smoke Q juice on the show here for the last number of months. Jim, I'm getting a lot of questions about the hat in the chat room. Is that a Buckeye hat?
Well, Greg, yeah, I'm originally from Ohio, so yeah, I'm a proud Buckeye.
You're feeling the kick in the balls like the rest of us all the way down there.
Yes, yeah, I am. I mean, it really hurt, but being down here in Florida, these Florida State fans are just, they even before the game last weekend, they had Florida State whooping Ohio State's butt. even before the game. So, not saying that, Florida State would have beat Ohio State. I just think, I don't think Ohio State was, a number 1 or number 2 team in the country. They're top 5, but, it hurt. But, I'm kind of glad that, we don't have to listen to that, the Florida State and the SEC, crap.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jim, one thing that is, I guess, unique about the race that you're in, Florida Barbecue Association, when compared to KCBS, is that, and we talked about this a little bit a couple days in advance, you could literally GC this event this coming weekend and still not claim FBA Team of the Year title. Shocking to some, for sure, I know. Can you kind of set the stage for us a bit on how things are right now and how some of these scenarios need to unfold for you to win, or how could you potentially even GC and not take overall championship? It seems crazy. It
is crazy. We could GC and then, with the FBA points, it's kind of simple. But, the Team of the Year points are based on not your overall scores, where if we would GC this coming weekend, that's basically overall score. So I could say for example, I could take first in chicken. Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas could take second. I could take second in ribs. He could take first. I could take first in pork. He could take second. Say I got 11th in brisket and he finishes 6th. He would win the Team of the Year.
Wow.
It's based on a 10-point system for Team of the Year. So if you get first place, it's 10 points. Second is 9. Down to 10th place is first. And same thing with the overall. So just by the points on your individual category, it's not by the total points of your score. It's by, your placement. So yes, I could, potentially, if I take GC this weekend, and I could potentially lose it.
A very small amount of me wants to actually see that happen so we can see the shitstorm that would ensue, going, how can this guy win grand champion? He doesn't win Team of the Year when he started the competition ahead of them. I mean, that would be crazy. Let's not think about it.
I'd be the first one to, I don't know. It'd be real crazy. But all I have to do is, finish ahead of both those guys in every category. No matter if it's 10th through, whatever. I just got to finish, ahead of those guys.
You take care of your business. Everything takes care of itself after that.
That is right.
Jim Elser joining me here on the show. Sweetsmoke, the letter Q.com, the website, if you want to check it out while we're talking. Jim, on a scale of confidence, and I know pitmasters hate when I ask them about this, but given the quality of the teams just behind you in the points, how confident are you feeling that you'll be able to get down into Perry this weekend and come out with that Team of the Year title?
I would like to say I feel 100% confident, but these guys, the 2 guys behind me, Dana Hillis from Big Poppas, he's been cooking very good. Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas, same thing. I seem to be and it's been the joke in the FBA in the last several months. I'm the third place king, because I've been getting a lot of third places, which is not bad. I'm not complaining about that,
yep.
But I think I've been cooking fairly well the last few months. We went to did some KCBS contest in Nevada, and I didn't fare as well as I would like to out there. Just the flavor profile was a little bit different out there than what I was normally down here in the Southeast. I didn't change anything up, so we did all right out there. Just a little bit different flavor profile here in the South, especially my pork. Everybody obviously knows that I use the Q juice, the pork injection here, it's just not the injection. It's your rubs, your finishing sauces. So I went to we did a contest in Laughlin, Nevada, and my brother was out there with me, and I told him before pork turned in, I said, I don't know if this pork sauce is gonna fare well out here. It's has a little more tang to it, not quite as sweet as a lot of people are using, and it definitely hurt us. So we switched that up for the World Food Championship. We did a little bit better, but then we came back down here in Lakeland and almost got us a grand. We took third place, missed the grand by 1.5 points, and so I think we're cooking pretty good. I just hopefully I can turn in the best stuff I can turn in.
If I can play devil's advocate just for a second here, Jim, if things for whatever reason don't end up going your way this weekend, will there be some type of disappointment on your end by not getting the title as you look back on the overall season?
Yeah, I would say yes, just because I went back and looked at, the overall, the overall year, and there was a lot of points that just little points I could have picked up here and there. But not taking it in against anything against Dana or Matt. They cooked well too. So I think there will be a little disappointment. But then again, I didn't come into the year, expecting to, go for Team of the Year. This is my fourth year competing. Really, this is my second year really, totally, competing more than, a handful of times.
Jim, you mentioned this a couple minutes ago when I was talking to Tim Grant last week from True Bud. He said he thought that the flavors down in the Southeast were different from some of the other places that he cooks. You kind of mentioned the same thing as you got out west. As someone who does a lot of events, obviously, in the Southeast, what kind of flavor profiles can you articulate that really seem to hit the judges' fancy?
Down here, it's sweet. The sweeter, the better. Ribs, I call them candy on a bone, because that's what they are. When I first started off and competing, I didn't put enough sugar. I put probably 4 or 5 different types of sugar on my ribs. So it's a sweeter profile. Chicken's the same way. What I've been really killing it down here in the FBA in the pork. In the pork category is I put my sweet on the pork. My finishing sauce is not that sweet. So it's a real sweet, a sweet flavor profile. Brisket is not. We don't put a lot of barbecue sauce or finishing sauce on our brisket slices, which are the flats, but the burn ends are fairly sweet. So. Going out in the, competing out in the West, I talked to several different teams, and I think that might be what they were telling me, a lot more sweeter than we do in the FBA.
Jim Elser is my guest. Jim, just transitioning out of the competition thing just for a second, obviously on this show, not only are you known as a great competitor out there in the Southeast, but the guy that makes Sweet Smoke Q Juice, a very popular pork injection. How's that side of things going for you business-wise, and how do you see that potentially growing into the future?
Oh, it's going very well. We just came out on retail probably in May this year, and it's been a huge hit. Getting selling it across the country, and people are doing very well with it. So I can't be more happier than at the progress of the how it's selling. And the future is we're looking at, I have a beef injection I'd like to get out in early 2014. It'll be basically the same concept, a liquid concentrate. So I've been working on that. I just tweaking little things here and there before I'm satisfied to get it out and for retail.
You can obviously find that at sweetsmoke.com. We're talking with Jim Elser. He's the pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q barbecue team, and he'll be looking to take the outright win for the Florida Barbecue Association Team of the Year this weekend at the Perry, Florida contest. Jim, obviously Centralites looking for any break in costs at any chance that they can get. I don't suppose we can squeeze any type of discount out of you for that Sweet Smoke Q Juice.
Yeah, if you haven't tried it, or if you tried it and you liked it, you can go on my website, sweetsmoke.com, And anything on my website, I have my 2 barbecue sauces, some other things on the website, plus the pork injection. If you go put the discount code at checkout, just the word holiday, you get a 20% off everything on the website until next Wednesday.
Wow. Next Wednesday. 20% off everything until next Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
All right.
The code holiday.
Perfect. Sounds great. Use the code HOLIDAY. Go to sweetsmoketheletterq.com and stock up and get 20% off. Jim, obviously we are pulling for you this weekend. We'll wish you nothing but good luck, and I really appreciate you coming on tonight to talk about it.
Hey, thanks for having me. It was always a pleasure.
Yeah, you got it. There he is. Jim Elser, Sweet Smoke Q, looking to grab the overall Team of the Year in the Florida Barbecue Association. So just when you think it couldn't get hotter than it was this past weekend in Calhoun, it is. It's hotter. Right down in Florida, where literally, last weekend it was, hold on a second here, I'm missing some. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Gotta make sure I got my stuff there. Last year, or this past weekend, obviously it would have been great to have, Tim or Donnie grand champion, and then you win, through the win of the competition. Didn't end up working out like that. Tim gets reserve grand, which is great. Donnie ends up finishing 10th. Tim, on the strength of his season, wins overall Team of the Year, which is fantastic for him. And obviously, congratulations to Donnie Bray on a fantastic season as well. But you're in a position now where you're Jim Elser, where you could win the whole freaking thing and not win Team of the Year because of points. Wow, that's crazy. I'll be watching with bated breath. You should be watching for Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply. TastyLicksBBQ.com. That's right, TastyLicksBBQ.com, 800-677-2882. Get over there right now. Subscribe to the newsletter. Watch all the videos. Realize, as I've said on any number of occasions, that Fred is a trusted online retailer and valued supporter of this show. If you want grills, if you want ceramic cookers, if you want offset cookers, if you want Kamado-style cookers, if you want biscuit cookers, you name it, Fred has it, like in stock. Not he has it and, you wait 5 years to get it until he gets it in stock. Everything that you see on the website, in stock, ready to ship to you promptly. All of the different kinds of rubs and sauces that are out there that are very popular, he has them in stock. If you are a Big Green Egg person, Fred actually gets items made for him accessory-wise that nobody else gets in the country. They're specifically made for Fred. He partners with a lot of these accessory makers, gives them ideas, brings them to market. Voila, they are ready for use. So they are classified as the Eggsperts. And, of course, he's always giving classes, some about pizza, some about barbecue, bringing in top talent to give competition cooking classes at his Shillington, Pennsylvania location. So I implore you, encourage you, and do likewise, gents. TastyLicksBBQ.com or call 800-677-2882. Tasty Licks Barbecue. All right, your chance to win a $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore coming up out of the break. Stick around. We'll be right back.
On the show, when we give stuff away for no money, that's why it's free of charge. You can win stuff and I'll give it away for free.
All right, you can win a $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore, thebbqsuperstore.com. Send me an email, and in the subject line, Jim Elser, Sweet Smoke Q, the letter Q. Jim Elser, Sweet Smoke Q. And you can win a $20 gift certificate to the Barbecue Superstore. Again, that's thebbqsuperstore.com. Thanks to Richard Parker and the gang over there. Jim Elser, Sweet Smoke, the letter Q, for your chance to win. Good luck.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. 2 ways to get in touch with me should you see fit. So I'm wondering, especially for the competitors out there in the marketplace, better known as Instant Chat, if you are in a Team of the Year race, currently sitting in first, and you grand champion the last event of the year, and you are not Team of the Year,
Get that free stuff out of here.
how pissed off are you? Pretty pissed? Mega pissed? Not pissed? There would be a faction that would say, look, I mean, you know the rules. You know what you're getting into. Just because you are leading Team of the Year right now doesn't mean that if you win this event, you should be winning Team of the Year. I understand how the rules are. I think it is a little... I'm not blowing it out of proportion. But I think there might be a few emails, written letter of correspondence, and or likewise that would say, hey, I was winning the points, I won the competition, and I didn't win Team of the Year? What? What? That would be weird. That would be weird to see. Would that be a rule changer come next elections at Florida Barbecue Association? I'll be honest, I've lost touch with it ever since Rub got out of presidency. Other presidents not really open to coming on the show for FBA. We'll try and rectify that situation down the road. I thought for years we had a great relationship with Florida Barbecue Association. Kevin Bevington was president there for a number of years, as he was also ass-whooping all the FBA teams for like 5 years in a row. And then we moved on to Rub, and then after that we kind of lost touch, so we'll try and effort that for the 2014 season, get FBA on this show, a little bit more in the mix. I know I would appreciate that. But we'll see how it shakes out in Calhoun. We'll see how it shakes out in Perry, Florida. Again, that'll be this coming weekend. Jim Elser, Sweet Smoke Q, Dana Hillis, Big Poppas Country Kitchen, and Matt Barber, Hot Wachulas. Reminds me of Dan from Wachula every time I hear Wachula. If you're not a fan of the show, you don't have any idea what I'm talking about. All right, we will get loaded up for the second hour. Don't forget we have Joe Beland coming in. I have show announcements to make for the upcoming remainder of the shows, both ongoing and for the rest of the calendar year. We have giveaways. One more giveaway coming up. Sweet Smoke Q Juice. All that, plus your phone calls and emails. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Networks.
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's try that again. There we go. If you want to jump in on the show tonight, more than happy to have you. 877-448-0433. You can also email the show. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. More than happy to have you. Got something to add to the conversation? Want to weigh in on what's going to be happening down in Florida this coming weekend? Jump in right now. I'll put you up. Give me your 2 cents. Then take off, hoser. Take off.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
We wish Jim Elser good luck. Everybody but Dana Hillis has actually been on this show. Matt Barber was on a while back. He's got quite the budding co-packer and sauce packer business going on down there. So if you're looking for somebody to help make your sauce that you have in your head, Matt Barber probably a good place to check out if you want to. From Hot Wachulas. So at least 2 of the 3 people have the residual show karma. Jim obviously has the most show karma right now because he was just on the freaking show. Damn right. Good for you, Jim. Way to be smart. His website, again, sweetsmokeq.com, and he is doing a holiday giveaway, holiday special. Go to sweetsmokeq.com. Anything that is for sale on his website, enter the code HOLIDAY and the promo code FIELD. 20% off the entire order. That's good until next Wednesday. So that would be the 18th, 1 week from Christmas. Still to come tonight, Joe Beland, Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew. We're going to be talking about the King of the Smoker competition. They won that one. We'll talk to him about the experience out there when you... What's the number again? To what? The show? 877-448-0433. It's only the same freaking number I've said the last 7 years, Matt. Open your... You got corn cobs between your ears, son? One of my favorite Jerky Boy comments ever. We will get Joe's take on how the King of the Smoker competition really has risen to cataclysmic fame, rave reviews within a 12-month time frame. Its inaugural event a year ago went off to rave reviews. Some people saying that even it was the best competition they had been to all year. Some said ever for a first-time event. And then getting a year of preparation and experience underneath your belt. I don't know how you could get better reviews than there were last year for a first-time event, but the second-time event this past weekend seemed to match that or exceed. So a number of different things to get into with Joe, aside from him winning, and we'll certainly do that in about 11 minutes from now. All right, programming notes, as I said. Man, I hate to say it. The Wednesday show is dead.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
In the words of Willie Robertson, Egon. Now, this is no reflection on Ray Lampe, Dr. Barbecue. Believe it or not, I've been in concert communication, which is somewhere between concert and communication. Constant. I've been in constant communication with Ray Lampe on this whole thing, and believe it or not, it was just a matter more of the day job actually running up against Wednesday, and I don't have with all the other stuff, but the day job has really bitten into the ability to do the Wednesday show, and I'm not going to get into the specific stuff, but you know, it's good to be busy at the day job, obviously. You know, you don't want to get the notice that maybe you should take some time off, like permanently.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
So Ray is amenable to doing the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment on the Tuesday show. We're going to plan to do it the first Tuesday of every month, I believe. So you can kind of bank on that. Still send in the questions. Still do the AskDrBarbecue.com website thing, and we'll do it once a month. But again, mostly related to my work more than anything else. And for whatever reason, Tuesdays just seem to be the best day for me, the best day for the show, best day for the audience, bottom line, so we keep it Tuesday. We're going to keep it, we're going to do it live! All right, let's go to the phones. Area code 407, name and where you're calling from.
Hey, it's Matt from Florida.
Hey, Matt, how are you, buddy?
Hey, you asked calling, man. I got to tell you, I got to pick Jim to win this one.
You're going out on a limb and picking Jim to win.
Oh, no. Wait. You said out on a limb. No, I'm not going out on a limb. I'm going with Jim, man.
Oh, you're that confident.
The guy's got the juice.
You want to put some cheddar on that cracker, cousin?
Oh, well, you got all the cheddar, man. You got all the sponsorship and everything up there. So,
yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Madden, the rest of the IPC guys and everything else out there, man, Jim, the guy backs it up.
All right, so you think that this coming weekend in Perry, now are you going to be out there taking it in? Are you competing?
I wish I could. It's a little farther. Florida's a lot bigger state than most people realize. It's a lot farther than I could. I will probably see Jim up in Apopka, and I'll also see him in Oviedo and a lot of other competitions. We also have a great store now from your friend Chad from Whiskey Bet.
Wow. So this is going to be, I mean, look, Matt, I mean, you follow the competition scene, I'm sure. Can you imagine being in the lead, winning the event this weekend, and then somehow not being crowned champion after all of that?
In Florida, it wouldn't surprise me because don't we have the hanging Chad?
That was years ago, Matt. Come on.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. It would really be horrible. You have to figure it out down here in the FDA, but I'm a newcomer to it, so I really have no way to throw around and say we got to figure out a better solution. Jim's the best guy to talk to about this, and Team Unknown, and there's a lot of other teams down here you better talk to about it before I get myself in trouble where I walk into a competition and get stoned.
Yeah, well, let's not get stoned. Let's do it only the right way with weed, Matt. All right. Meat, what else you got, Matt?
Hey, I'm grateful for this show, man. It's a lot of fun. I love to hear the guys, especially Jim, Chad, and the other guys from the FBI on here from time to time, David Butcher, and the rest of the guys. It's awesome. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you, Matt, for calling in. Beat it. I don't have a prize, otherwise I'd give you a prize. Stay tuned for a giveaway. Sweet Smoke Huges. Matt, you probably actually won that, I bet. I'm looking into the chat here, which I typically don't want to do. Yeah, Jim, pressure's on. You got a caller backing you. Watch out. One caller speaking for the entire nation. So that's the programming note that I have in regards to the Wednesday show. I mean, we haven't had a Wednesday show maybe but once in the month of January or of December. And it just not there. That's all I can say about that. So from now on, like starting tomorrow, no show ongoing. Now, let's talk about the upcoming few weeks towards the end of the year. It just so happens that Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve fall on Tuesdays.
Get that big stuff out of here.
Likewise, Christmas Day and New Year's Day fall on Wednesdays. So I don't foresee any audience at all Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. So for the last 2 weeks of the year, we will be playing. Kevin and I from Outdoor Cooking Channel will be getting into cahoots and kind of doing a internal poll of what shows we think were the best of the year. So if you're listening right now or over the next couple weeks, if there was a show that you thought was spectacular, let me know, and we will put those shows up for the final 2 weeks of the year. So that would be the 24th and the 31st. And then we'll be back with new shows on the very first part of the year, which I believe would be the 7th. So look for new shows starting right out of the box. But I think it would be futile to expect anybody to show up between 9 and 11 on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. I mean, I'm fooling myself. Even my ego does have some bounds, believe it or not. Speaking of somebody's ego who has no bounds, Dave Bosca, Butcher Barbecue. This guy is outrageous. First of all, he is offering this trade-in program right now. where if you have somebody else's commercial injection and it is not working for you, the scores are good, your buddies aren't giving you the high fives and the butt daps on the rear, and you know it's all because of this damn injection that you decided to try when you should have got Butcher's in the first place, no problem. Go to butcherbbq.com, hit the trade-in link, top right of the navigation, print off the sheet, and then send back the commercially remaining product to Dave. He will get it in. He will weigh it. All final weigh-ins from Dave are calculated, and then at your direction, he will send you back pork, beef, prime, or bird booster. So don't just throw that other injection away. That's a waste of money. Don't waste your money. Go to butcherbbq.com and then do the trade-in program. This was like one of the best things ever. Dave Bosca coming out with that trade-in program was excellent. I remember when we unveiled it on this show, I was like, wow, this guy's really thinking. Not only is he trying to make his own customers happy by providing great products, which they know, but now he's, the people that have been pissed that they tried something else and otherwise would have to throw it away, Dave's taking care of that for them, providing his own product back in return. And it's winning all across the nation. KCBS, FBA, IBCA, New England Barbecue Association, Great Lakes Barbecue Association, Pacific Northwest Barbecue Association, associations of barbecue associations that are associated with barbecue associations, all winning with them. Damn right. On top of all of that, he's got the injections. He's got the bird booster. A lot of you are going to be doing turkey again for Christmas. Use it. Bird booster. It's going to retain 7 times more liquid, more moisture than it would be on a traditional brine. These are the only 2 times you eat turkey during the year. Thanksgiving, you turn around a month later, you eat one for Christmas. I know you're going to do it. Maybe you're going to make a ham as well. Don't be fooled. If you have a question about anything related to barbecue, Dave is the guy to ask. Go to butcherbbq.com, hit the contacts button, ask Dave a question. You'll be surprised. This guy is on top of his game and really gracious with his time and knowledge. Looking for rubs, looking for sauces, Dave has all of those as well. But tonight I am talking a lot about the trade-in program because to me, not only is it showing that he has confidence in his own products, but he has the confidence to take in some, substandard products and turn around something that you're going to like. You're going to like. That's why you should go to butcherbbq.com. A, and B, you should always trust your butcher. We're back with Joe Beland right after this. Stick around.
Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we're back. My guests in the second hour invited to La Quinta, California this past weekend to take part in King of the Smokers. When the... bad pun that I didn't even realize. When the smoke cleared, he and his team reigned supreme over everyone else. Here to recap the weekend, the win, pitmaster of the Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew, and friend of this show, Joe Beland, joining me here on the show. Joe, how are you, buddy?
Good, I'm awesome. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, Joe. Appreciate you asking, making time tonight. Big weekend for you and the team, obviously, Joe, and I was seeing a number of accounts from teams that were not only having a little difficulty getting to King of the Smokers, but also getting back home. So before, I guess, we get into the event itself, leaving the lush confines of La Quinta, how was your travel back, and how was your travel, too?
Yeah, actually, it worked out pretty good for us. We were really worried about getting out there and what that was going to be like, but we flew out of Minneapolis and got through with just a couple-hour delay, so that went just fine.
Joe Beland joined me here on the show. Joe, you've been to a number of competitions over the last 2-3 years. How does this, and we're talking about King of the Smokers, obviously, but how does this physical location compare to some of the other venues and events that you hit up during the course of a year?
There's no comparison, Greg. This thing, all the descriptions you've seen online, the things you've read, they're all true and maybe more. It's just the perfect spot for something like this. It's a place that I'd never go if it wasn't for this. Something I would never be able to do without without Sterling and the King of the Smoker event. It's so beautiful, so amazing, so over the top, and then really between the resort and Sterling and the Big Poppas team, the work they do to make sure the teams have everything they need. From bringing in smokers to shipping out anything you might need to make sure they have it there on site. It's really, really an over the top event. That's an experience like nothing I've never had. So it's a lot of fun. Something that's hard to describe. You just kind of have to see it, believe it or not, to believe it.
Joe Beland joining me here on the show. Tippy Canoe BBQ.com is the website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. Oh, shit. Hold on a second, Joe. All right, there we go. I'm an idiot. Yay. Forgive me, Joe. Forgive me. So there seems to be, and I guess for good reason, a lot of hype around this event. All things good, by the way. Charities that it benefits, the showcase to the public, of course, the ability to win a good chunk of change isn't half bad either. Is there a lot of discussion on the circuit about how one gets into this event or doesn't get in? In just a few years' time, it's really become an event teams want to get that invite to, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear a lot about it. I get a few of those questions. We've been fortunate enough to go both years that the event's been held. And, you get those questions about what's that look like, and it's kind of hard to describe. And I had a conversation with Sterling about it, and I heard him last week on your show, and he tried to kind of clear that up a little bit. But it is there isn't a hard set of rules, and I don't think there will be. I don't think there probably can be. It's really about the year that a team had, the personality, I think, has a lot to do with it, and the chemistry between the teams. Sterling does a lot of work to make sure that we're all happy and communicating and talking and doing all those kind of things. This event has a public aspect to it as well as one of the ways that they raise money for their charities is to sell tickets to get in, and there's demonstrations that the teams put on. He provides the tent, and there's no sides on those tents, and that's on purpose. So after 1:30, Sterling was really smart, I think, about that to make sure that turn-ins were done. But after 1:30, they open the gates, and people come through and have an opportunity to interact with cooks, and that's a part of that process, I think, too, is that ability to interact and represent barbecue in a positive way.
I think Sterling talked about it last week, and obviously I'm interested in getting your take on it too as well, Joe. Any other competition during the course of the year, there might be a few oddballs. You guys are really kind of secluded, by choice. It's not something that typically, you're just kind of out in the open showing everybody what you're doing. And this is the way the sport has kind of evolved, especially over the last 3-4 years, the big trailers, and everybody's kind of doing their own thing off by themselves. And Sterling has really made the effort, as you said, no sides on the easy ups. He's getting people out there. In a grand scenario kind of a situation, to have competition barbecue continue to grow, do you think there needs to be more access like what took place this past weekend so people can really see it and say, hey, he's not a superstar athlete. It doesn't take a rocket science degree. There's nothing overly special that qualifies you to be a really good pit master except the drive to want to be good and practice it, right?
Yep, exactly. And I do think we need to figure that out as a sport collectively. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody else. I've got the trailer. I'm inside that trailer with the door closed, doing my thing, not out in the public's eye either when I go to a contest. And the normal contests we attend aren't really set up for that. And it's too bad. I hear stuff on the radio. I read the papers headed into a contest week at a local place if we're going to a local contest, and they'll be talking about how the best barbecue pitmasters in the world are converging on small town Iowa to compete in this contest, and that's all true. What they don't tell them is that they're not going to be able to see a lot, and they're probably not going to be able to taste any food, and we're all going to be pretty busy doing our thing. And I think they show up wanting to experience barbecue. They've seen it on TV. They see the stuff on the internet, and they get there, and it's really not for spectators. Not a spectator sport at this point. And as somebody who's been around 4 or 5 years and watched that evolve, I think the next step may be making it about getting those eyes and getting those feet on the ground at a barbecue contest. So we're going to attract sponsors who will continue to foot the bill, and in some cases increase that prize pool for all of us cooks. I think there's probably has to be some return for that. Those sponsors aren't standing there waiting to hand out money just to help all of us out. Obviously, they're trying to drive traffic and all of those things and so at the contest site, I think the only way to do that is to get more involved with the public. So we had to figure out how to do that. I don't know what the right answer is, but definitely the event this weekend seemed like a right step in that direction. We all knew going in what was going to be expected. I think everybody was happy to do it, and it's a pretty good trade.
So let's go ahead and kind of recap the cook itself, Joe. Once settled in, what did you guys kind of get to work on first in preparation for the cook?
Well, what's unique about this event is I'm trying to think. It was 2:30 on Friday afternoon. All the teams gather together. They kind of have the bingo machine with ping pong balls in it that are numbered, and they have teams listed in a random order. I happen to be the first team called in that random order. They pulled my ping pong ball with the number 11 on it. So I got the cooler number 11 that had 3 ribs, 2 pork butts, 2 briskets, and 2 whole chickens in it. So I get my number, go over, grab the box, and start prepping. Obviously, that's not what I have at a normal contest, and I would say that'd be true for the 23 other cooks as well. 2 briskets is pretty normal, but everything else, quantity-wise, is less than what I'm getting, and in some cases, specifically the chicken. Obviously, I'm not buying whole chickens to start my contest. So we started with our big meats and prepped those like we normally did, although we had a few less pork butts than we normally do. Those were pretty much the same. Brisket was the same. Trimmed up some ribs. Again, other than quantity, that's pretty typical. And then I got to the chicken, and that's really where I spent a lot of time breaking down the chickens and trying to figure out what I was going to turn in out of those 2 whole chickens.
Joe, do you think even if you are a backyard guy, take me for instance, somebody that's really not interested in competing, getting my ass kicked all over the place by you guys, but likes to provide a really good product, whether I'm hosting a small party or maybe we're having kind of a big blowout out here in Seatown. Do you think it's worthwhile as somebody who has dealt with the evolution of these higher-end meats coming out, and I don't know if it's necessarily expected at this point by judges, but I would imagine more and more teams are moving to the Duroc porks and the Wagyu beefs and all that other stuff. Is there a sizable difference to where a home cook or a backyard guy should make that jump and try them out at least?
I think so, Greg, and I don't have a stake in that game, so to speak, but definitely from my experience, when I take competition, even leftovers or meat we didn't cook for a contest that's of that quality, and take it to work or cook it for friends or have a party and have people over, I get that comment a lot of, well, especially with beef, this tastes different. This doesn't taste like, from the meat perspective, just doesn't taste like what I can buy anywhere else. And so I think there is a difference, and I think it's a difference anybody can taste with those high quality meats through that. The flavors are just different, and we've just started experimenting with Duroc pork, but it may be more prevalent in pork than it is beef, even from what I've seen so far.
Joe Beland joining me here on the show, pitmaster of Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew, talking about the win at King of the Smokers this past weekend. Joe, do you like the fact that, I guess to a certain degree, this contest more than any other, obviously, kind of a toss back to a more basic style contest? No pellet cookers, no draft systems. everyone using the same cuts of meat or the same manufacturer of meat. Do you think it really kind of levels that playing field, or perhaps is that more of a fond notion than anything else?
No, I like it. I really like the meat perspective of we get the box of meat with the same thing and at the same quantities. I think there's really something to be said about that, and that creates a more level playing field, I think. I'm not as sure that the electronic control devices, I'm a Guru guy, heard Bob on earlier. I'm not as sure that has that big of an impact on a field like what we saw at King of the Smoker this weekend. I use my Guru so I can sleep 5 or 6 hours on a Friday night, so I could do this weekend after weekend throughout the year. It doesn't really change the way the cooker performs, the way I use them anyway. It just makes it allows me to walk away for a while and know that it's going to be where I need it. So, but I do think that having the same meat and everybody gets the same quantity and they're of similar quality, that's a big deal.
All right, Joe, so in an overall sense, how did the cook end up going for you as things are progressing overnight? Any weird things that you had to deal with, or was it pretty much business as usual for you guys?
Pretty much business as usual. It was cold. And cold is, of course, a relative term this time of year. It's 5 degrees below zero as I look outside my window here, sitting in the den. So it was not cold compared to here, but for La Quinta, California, it was cold. It was 32 or 3 degrees overnight on Friday night. So we had to deal with that, used a little more charcoal, that kind of thing, had to pay a little closer attention. And, of course, without the Guru, had to definitely keep an eye on that. But an uneventful cook overnight and into the morning, things went well.
As you start to turn in chicken, you get 5th overall. As you're in awards, it's always probably nice to hear your name called with that first category out of the box. You get 5th. Were you happy with where that placed? Did you think you had a decent 5th place chicken there?
Yeah, we did. We had those whole chickens. We cut them up into pieces, and I literally didn't know what I was going to put in the box until 11:45 on Saturday morning. We took everything out of the cooker. And I had my wife Kim with me. She's the barbecue palate. She's the reason we do so well at these contests. There's no doubt about it in my mind. I handed her one piece of everything, one wing, one thigh, one leg, one piece of breast, and basically said, all right, what's good? What are we doing? And the first thing she picked up was a leg. Took a bite of that leg and said, I don't know what you did to these and what we're going to do, but the rest of the legs have to go in the box. This is just amazing. Picked up a thigh, said same thing. That's perfect. So we knew we were going to put the legs and thighs in, and the breast was very good. I made the call to go ahead and turn that in. So we turned in 3 legs, 3 thighs, and 6 or 8 slices of breast down the middle of the box. So that box was perfectly full. Totally different than any other KCBS box we'd ever done before, but we really liked our chances with chicken. We thought it came out very well, and we're very happy. They only called top 5 in a category at that contest, so we were the first name called, and we're very happy to hear it.
Different than a box or different from the other boxes because no garnish in this box, right?
No garnish in this box, correct? And we're usually turning in 6 thighs. And of course, with 2 chickens, we didn't have 6 thighs to turn in. So definitely a different look to it with just a piece of foil in the box and then a little different pieces of meat in there.
Aside from the normal chicken thighs that you would turn in, how did you feel about the non-use of garnish? Is it something that you think if KCBS decided turn of the year to get rid of garnish, which obviously they can't do, that you would be okay with it, or is it still that thing that sets KCBS apart from the other sanctioning bodies and kind of helps in certain degrees?
Yeah, I think it helps more than it hurts. I don't like building parsley boxes more than anybody else, and that's 45 minutes of time that every time I wish I could get back. But I've now cooked 3 contests that you couldn't use garnish in, and every time I ended with man, I miss my parsley. You can cover so much, you can present differently. I know I hear a lot of people talk about, well, the green really makes meat pop in the box, and I'm not sure about all that. But for me, it's about propping the meat up, displaying the meat, and quite frankly, hiding something that I don't want the judge to see. I can put it on the bottom, build a little parsley around it, and now it's gone. And you really miss that with just a plain box with a piece of foil in the bottom. you can see everything, and sometimes that's not always good.
Joe Beland joining me here on the show. We're talking about the individual results here for King of the Smoker. Next is ribs, obviously. You get a third-place call there, so you hear your name again. I would imagine you're pretty happy with the rib result as well.
Yeah, we got 3 really nice racks of ribs, and they came out perfect. We couldn't have done anything different on the ribs. Really liked those, and I was happy there.
Same thing for pork, third place. So it's 3 calls. You got to feel like you're kind of rolling at this point. Where's your mind at this point through awards? You feeling like we're kind of moving up here? Are you keeping track of your old boy Scott Nelson there? I mean, how are things going?
Yeah, definitely. Going into pork, when we were building the pork turn-in box, the temperatures had dropped 10 or 15 degrees probably in just a few minutes. The wind had picked up, and the air really changed. We started building the pork box, and I wasn't 2 minutes into building the box, and I could feel that this meat is cold already. And I thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble. And we kind of kicked it into high gear. Built the box as quick as we could. We only had 2 pork butts. I'm used to cooking 4. So, again, a big challenge for me to try to figure out where am I going to get enough meat to fill this box. But got it off as quick as possible. So when we got that third place pork call, I quite frankly was shocked. I was very happy to hear that. I was afraid that pork was gonna do us in. And when we got that call, I thought, well, we've got a chance at this thing now. Through those 3, we were the only team with 3 calls. Scott had 2 really good calls. Simply Marvelous had a couple of good calls. Girls Gone Wild was right there. And, of course, with brisket to go, all those guys are really good brisket cooks. So that was what's going through my mind is what do I need to get in brisket and who do I need to avoid to pull this thing out?
Hey, Joe, I didn't ask you in advance earlier today, but can you hang out and do another segment so we can finish off here?
Sure, you bet.
All right, let me put you on hold here just for a second. I'll go ahead and do this read, and then we'll pick back up for King of the Smokers. We're talking with Joe Beland, Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew, and the win over at the King of the Smokers this past weekend in La Quinta, California. Gang, let me talk to you really quickly about this contraption called iGrill. The next generation of iGrill has arrived. You can now pre-order the iGrill Mini at this website, like the letter I, devicesinc.com/iGrill for $39.99. The iGrill Mini has everything you love about the iGrill and so much more with a smart LED that indicates the progression of your temperature, let you know when you are in and out of temperature range, proximity wake up to conserve battery, and outstanding battery life up to 150 hours. And you get all these awesome features in a pocket-sized device, about half the price of the original iGrill, so $39.99 for the iGrill Mini, with 1 meat probe and probe wrap included with your purchase. The iGrill magnetically mounts to your grill or smoker and even comes with an attachable magnet in case you don't have a magnetic portion on the surface of your cooker. Like on those ceramic cookers, you're going to need that. So if you don't have something that is non-magnetic, this comes with a magnetic mount to help you out in that regard. Little info on the product itself. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that pairs with your Apple or Android device using the free iGrill Pro app. That can be downloaded at the iTunes App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on your operating system. You're looking at about 200 feet for range, so you can monitor your food from practically anywhere in your house. Gives you the free time to do what you want, when you want, with the assurance your food is being perfectly cooked. Go watch the game, have a beer, have 4, mow the lawn, shovel the driveway. iGrill's got your food covered. And the iGrill has dual probe capability on the regular model, so you can monitor 2 different pieces of meat at once. You can also measure the ambient temperature of your smoker or grill using the ambient temperature probe, which can be purchased at iGrillinc.com. Now, within the app, you can set minimum and maximum temperature settings. If your grill or smoker gets too hot or too cool, your smart device will alert you, and you can enter the promo code CENTRAL at checkout for 15% off everything at iGrillinc.com. That's the letter I, the word grill, and then inc.com. And don't forget they also offer shipping for free on orders over $50. So check it out, iDevicesinc.com/iGrill for the $39.99 iGrill Mini, which is on pre-order right now, or go to iGrillinc.com, get the regular iGrill. You get 200 feet of Bluetooth range. You get 15% off everything if you enter promo code CENTRAL at checkout. Everything over $50 ships for free. We're back with more Joe Beland from Tippy Canoe right after this. Stick around. Be right back.
Now the time on the show when we give stuff away. Gonna give it away for free at no cost. So get ready to send that email right now.
All right, your chance to win a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q Juice from Jim Elser, who will be trying to win the Florida Barbecue Association's Team of the Year title. Send me an email, and in the subject line, Tippy Canoe Crew. Tippy Canoe Crew. And first one in with that subject line gets a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q Juice, donated graciously by the pitmaster of Sweet Smoke Q, Jim Elser, who was on in the first hour. Good luck.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back with Joe Beland from Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew, talking about the King of the Smokers. Big win this past weekend. Joe, appreciate you hanging with me through the break there. We left off you taking third in pork, and then we were talking about where you needed to be at brisket. So no call. You get 12th overall. So before we get into the mind games, as far as your assessment of brisket, was that about on par? Do you think it should have been a little bit better? Where'd you come out on your brisket?
Yeah, no, we liked the brisket. We thought it was pretty good. But that said, we've spent the last 3 weeks on the West Coast there in California. Brisket cost me a pickup at a contest in Laughlin 3 weeks ago. We didn't do well in brisket at the World Food Championship. So that's in my mind of, did this just happen again with brisket? We're off. I don't really know why. I can't put my finger on it. I guess I got all winter to find it. But definitely was worried at that point what happened with the brisket.
So as the overall callers start going out, did Sterling call top 10, or was he top 5 overall?
Top 7.
Oh, all right, top 7 overall. So it's basically you and Scott kind of neck and neck for the most part going into the brisket. Neither of you get called for that category. What's going through the mind is Reserve Grand is being called. Do you feel like you have a shot to win, or because Scott had finished ahead of you, like in the 2 previous meets, you might have missed a shot? And, of course, no one knows where either you or Scott are in brisket at this point. Just kind of wonder what's racing through the mind before you hear your name called.
Yeah, no, it definitely is one of those things that I know it's one of us. Scott lives 30 miles down the road from me is the crazy part of all this. We're practically neighbors. We see each other every weekend, and we talk during the weeks. And so it's one of those things of, well, I guess if it's not us, it's Scott. So that's an okay thing. You can't win them all. And so we're sitting there as they call that name. You're listening for the first syllable. You're listening for the P or the T at that point, and which one's it going to be? So when we heard pigskin, obviously, you get that. It's almost a feeling of relief okay, it has to be us. So
when you are called, and obviously you've really won some huge events in the barbecue career, Joe, from Tippy Canoe. I mean, you've won American Royal, you've won Sam's Club. King of the Smokers, I mean, it is an invitational. Where does this one stack up kind of against all the others, or is this one almost kind of held off on its own?
Yeah, this one's really special. I think this contest will be the next major of barbecue. It'll be the Jack, the Royal, the Sam's Club, King of the Smoker. I think this one's gonna get there, and it's getting there quickly, and it may be there already. And the reason I say that, a couple things: the teams that are there, it's a select number, and that's on purpose. There's 24 teams there. There's 4 tables of judges. And I think that's by design. If you'd ask Sterling about that these are 24 of the best teams in the country with 24 or 22 or 23 master judges and 1 or 2 with lots and lots of experience that are very carefully selected. And so to me, that makes it different. That's not 180 teams that are at the American Royal Invitational or the crapshoot that is the Jack Daniels with a bunch of magazine editors as judges. that this is the real thing, and to come out on top of that was really unbelievable.
Joe, we talked about the fact that you had gotten whole chickens versus the typical chicken thighs that a lot of the KCBS teams are used to dealing with. Do you like dealing with whole chickens? Was it an exercise in how are we going to do this thing, or something you're just used to cooking and you'll break it down and do what you need to do?
I love to cook chicken. I love to cook whole chickens. But when I do that, I do it at home, and I don't care what they look like. After I start carving it, it doesn't have to fit in a 9x9 box. So that part of it was fun, but it added an element of challenge to this that I think really made it difficult on a lot of teams to try to figure out that chicken. Now, when we got done, I kind of went around and talked to other teams and see what they thought, and everybody enjoyed the chicken. At the end of the day, it was a challenge, and everybody was trying to figure out what they were going to do with it and how they make it work. But I got a lot of comments of, but you know what? That was kind of fun. Nice to do something different. So definitely a challenge.
I think 3 weeks ago I was talking with George Shore from Pitmakers. We were recapping their win on the barbecue aspect at the World Food Championships, and the thing that got them into the final table was half barbecue chicken. And he went on to say during our interview that, hey, in Texas, this is what we do. We do the half chickens. So obviously, I'm no mathematician, but it's half of a whole chicken. So you're dealing with the white meat, you're dealing with the dark meat, and you're contending with making sure that you're not overcooking and or undercooking either one of the dark or the white meat. And he's under the impression that the Texas guys are able to cook that chicken better technically than just a bunch of thighs. Do you feel that that is an unfair assessment, or do you think that there is some truth to that?
Oh, I think there's some truth to that. They do it on an every weekend basis. I think the 24 teams out west this weekend probably proved that we could cook it as well. We don't get the opportunity to do that every weekend, but I do think that's one of the things you'll see in KCBS, and I think we've seen it already if you talk to judges, that the multiple pieces of meat in a box. I think the 6 thighs in the bottom of a box, just getting a first place call at a contest is a thing of the past. It seems to me, teams I'm talking to, judges I'm talking to, that chicken that's scoring well isn't just thighs anymore. So I think they probably have the edge on us now, but we're coming.
Joe Beland joining me here on the show. Tippy Canoe BBQ.com is the website if you want to go ahead and check them out. I'm just asking for your candid response to this. I'm not asking anything deep or, anything like that. Were you surprised to see Harry Sue at the bottom of the chicken standing?
I was, yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing of this contest is somebody has to get last in every category. But I definitely was surprised to see him in chicken down there. That's his category. So I don't know if something happened there, something went wrong. Not sure.
Are you automatically invited back to defend for next year at King of the Smoker, or do you have to get re-invited back?
I think you got to go through it again. I hope that really helps my chances. I'd love to go back and be a part of this, and hopefully I get that opportunity. But I think we gotta start over and earn our way back in.
All right, Joe. So let me talk to you a little bit about KCBS. Obviously, there's going to be elections taking place here shortly. I am surprised that no hopeful has seen this show. Shame on you. I've only been instrumental in getting like 6 people elected to the board. So if you're interested, you guys out there looking to run for the board, holler at your boy. What do you think about how the KCBS scoring sheets have kind of legitimized the hitting the bad table or table of death or whatever you think about it? Is there something that is going to have to be addressed going forward with this?
My opinion, mine only, hopefully don't make anybody mad, is that there has to be something done or it will change competition barbecue KCBS materially for the bad long term. I think what we thought we knew, we now know as cooks, that there are some days where not only you're not gonna win, but you may not finish in the top 5. And it may have nothing to do with the product you turned in. And you may have just spent between $600 and $1,000 to travel to this contest and cook in it, and you just as well stayed home because you didn't have a chance because of the bad luck you received that day. Now, on the flip side of that is there's also days when you're going to show up at a 75-team contest and you're going to win. You're going to walk away grand champion. The reason that you won that day is because you were lucky enough to hit the high-scoring table twice. And we have to realize as cooks that that's going to happen too. And that I don't know. I had that happen to me this year. I'll be real upfront with you. We hit a really good table twice at a contest and we won it. And that doesn't feel any better as you walk away from that going, well, okay, we got pretty lucky today. We cooked well and we think we deserved to win. But the ultimate reason at the end of the day was because we had a kind table and we hit it twice. So that happens too. So we have, I don't know what the data is going to show. I don't know what it says. I don't know if this is a 10% or 20% problem where we're 10% too high and 10% too low. But we have to figure it out. Somebody smarter than I am, I can admit that, needs to dive in there, look at the data and figure out what we do. Do we need to throw out more scores? Do we need to eliminate some judges? Not everybody can be a doctor. Not everybody can be a football player. Not everybody can be a barbecue judge. So do we need to take that stance to some extent? I don't know what the answers are, but I definitely think something needs to happen for the long-term good of KCBS.
I've talked to a couple pitmasters off air, so let me qualify this statement by saying no names, please. But it was brought to my attention that if there are the teams that are out there doing 30, 35, 40 competitions, that it kind of all comes out in the wash for them. Hitting the table of death doesn't really affect them as much as the teams that aren't doing the same amount of competitions. Do you find validity in that, or is that not the case?
I think what happens there is you just increase your odds. You have more cooks to throw out. We only cooked 15 contests that counted for Team of the Year points this year. We just had a lighter scheduled other stuff outside of barbecue going on. Believe it or not, I have a life outside of barbecue. So we had to deal with some of those things. So we only cooked 15 contests. So we only got 5 to throw away. We're going to end up 7th in the Team of the Year race overall in KCBS with those 15 contests. And I'm really, really proud of that. I think that's something that you don't see every day because of that factor that you had. The reason they cooked 30, and we did it last year, we cooked 30, is you have 5 or 6 that you're just going to have to throw away. And again, to be fair, the full disclosure on the opposite side of that, when you cook that many, you're probably also gonna get the goodie a few times in there too, where you scored higher than you might have deserved in a few of those contests, and you're going to get the benefit of that.
Joe Beland joining me here on the show. Joe, last question here before I let you go. Best Christmas movie ever?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
I agree. My wife would punch me in the throat because she thinks Elf is the best Christmas movie ever. But I think.
Oh no!
I've always been partial to Clark W. Griswold and the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm glad somebody else out there is with me.
Perfect. Hey, just one thing quick, Greg. Just a couple things to wrap up. I got to thank Sterling and his folks at Big Poppas Smokers and the La Quinta Resort for everything they did for us this weekend. Awesome contest. Anybody out there listening ever gets a chance to go, definitely go check it out.
Joe Beland is the pitmaster of Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew, TippyCanoeBBQ.com, and the grand champion of this past weekend's King of Smoker. Joe, always appreciate the time. Glad we could catch up, and we'll do it again soon, buddy.
Sounds good, Greg. I really appreciate it. Anybody out there looking for a barbecue class this winter, see my website this week. There might be something good on there for you.
We will check it out. There he is. Joe Beland, Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew. Looking, is that the corn-fed class? I think that's a corn-fed. Maybe he's just doing it by himself. Usually he does one with Scott Nelson because, as he said, they're like 2 minutes from each other or whatever it is. Yeah. So there you go. A little extended Joe Beland action for you if you're interested. If you're just tuning into the show, I apologize. You should go back and get the archive. Get off me. It's not my fault you didn't tune in on time. Last but not least, let's talk about Arno Smokers, a custom pit builder combining innovation and art in each of their cutting-edge offset and vault-style pits. Vault-style pits becoming very popular these days. Located in the heart of Texas near Fort Worth, Granbury has been the home to Arno Smokers since the beginning. Arno Smokers has continued to widen its range using visionary planning both on the design level and the quality of the craftsmanship to bring their customers the finest custom pits on the market. Now, if you've been looking for a custom pit without the hefty price tag and those long lead times like some of the other manufacturers have out there on the market, make it your first choice, even to just take a look at. Just like I say with each and every supporter of this show, sponsor of this show, give them first consideration. Go to the website, check them out, at least stop over there. Do me a solid. Support the sponsors of the show. Mention you heard about Arno Smokers on the Barbecue Central show. Receive an additional discount off the already low price. For more information, follow the link to their Facebook page, which can be found at thebbqcentralshow.com. Then click on their logo at the bottom right of the main page, or you can visit the sponsor page or the links page on my website. That will get you to their Facebook page. They do the majority of their communication through the Facebook page, a lot of the promotion, showing a lot of pictures of the pits, all that good stuff. You can also contact Billy Overton or Tony Belay through email, respectively, at Billy, BILLIE, _RO Smokers at yahoo.com, or you can contact Tony, TONY, _RO Smokers at yahoo.com. Once again, Billy _RO Smokers or Tony _RO Smokers, both at yahoo.com. Don't forget to check out their Facebook page regularly for weekly drawings and giveaways from their barbecue partners as well. Again, you can find their Facebook page if you visit my website and then click on their logo, or visit the sponsors page or the links page, and that will get you over to their Facebook contacts. Great stuff. It's Arno Smokers, proud sponsor of this show, and happy to have them aboard here as a partner with the Barbecue Central show. All right, we're back to wrap up. After this, you're listening and watching the Barbecue Central show right here on the Barbecue Central Networks.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to react to anything Joe Beland said. Feel free to drop me a line, shoot me a call if you want to react to anything that Jim Elser said or Bob Trudnak. Your time. More than happy to have you. By the way, still looking for a winner for the Sweet Smoke Q Juice. Send me an email in the subject line. Tippy Canoe Crew. Tippy Canoe Crew. You can win a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q Juice from Jim Elser. Looking for that winner. By the way, we do have a winner for the $20 gift certificate from the Barbecue Superstore. That is Alan Frankel. Alan, I will forward your information over to Rich Parker, and he will be in touch on how to redeem. Again, don't forget you can subscribe to iTunes for replays of this show audibly. You can also go to YouTube for videos. You can go to the Outdoor Cooking channel for video replays. Of course, my website for audio and video replays. If you have Roku, you can download the Outdoor Cooking channel app in the Roku App Store, and you can get the archives of not only this show, but every other show that Kevin has on the Outdoor Cooking channel. Thanks again to Joe Beland for joining me. See, I told you I caroused him into a second segment. I'm a master. Guy's like, Dan, can I go? No, it's 5 degrees outside. You can stay. Let's talk about hot beef. Can we talk about hot beef? Once again, if you are just tuning in and you missed the top of the second hour, we were talking about some changes in programming. We had a very swift run of the Hump Day Barbecue Show we're having a very swift execution of the Hump Day Barbecue Show. So don't tune in tomorrow. Don't tune in next Wednesday or any other Wednesday ongoing. Through no fault of my recurring guest star, Ray Lampe, my work schedule has interfered to the point where I don't feel I'm able to put in the time, nor do I feel like I am confident enough to plan a show, only to have work not cooperate with me. And some places I cannot do the show remotely. So Tuesday is the show that will continue on throughout, as it has for the last almost 7 years. And we will move forward from there. Ray has told me that he will do the Ask Dr. Barbecue segment on the Tuesday show once a month. So we add more monthly contributors to the Tuesday show. I believe the stable right now consists of people like Scott Roberts with Sauce and Rub reviews, Meathead, who will be showing up on January 14th for the second Tuesday of every month show that will be going on forward with him, Ray Lampe, Stephen Reichland, Sam the Cooking Guy, Robin Lindars, the Grill Girl. I mean, it's a plethora of people. What can I tell you? People want on this damn show. I don't blame them. That's crazy. But no more Wednesday shows, no matter what. You can't even convince me. Bags of cash could. Instant chat room for those that are in there as people are waning off easy. Best Christmas movie ever. Go ahead. You weigh in on what your best Christmas movie ever is. We do have a winner for Sweet Smoke Q Juice. This is not planned, Jim, I swear to God, but it's my sister, Katie Rempe. The good news is, Jim, that she will probably relinquish the Sweet Smoke Q Juice to my dad, who is a barbecuer. Yes. Now that I'm thinking about it, better idea. Send me the Sweet Smoke Q Juice, Jim. I'm going to wrap it up and pretend like I bought it and send it to her as a gift. Yes! Great idea. Great idea for me. All right. Let's make haste and get out of this bad boy. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with Bob Trudnak, Director of Marketing and Sales over at the BBQ Guru, thebbqguru.com, or call him 800-288-GURU. Try out a sauce. Go to his meat store. Look for big announcements if you use the BBQ Guru for next year's competition season. I didn't get any more specific than that from him, but I'm sure he will come on to reveal after the fact. Also, a new product coming out and a facelift or a modification to an existing product. So very excited to talk to him about that coming up. Also, thanks to Jim Elser from Sweet Smoke Q. He will be vying for the FBA Team of the Year this weekend at the Perry, Florida contest, which name eludes me at the moment. So tune back in next Tuesday as we reveal who ends up winning that. We wish Jim the very best of luck. Show karma attaches, Jim, for coming on the show just like that. How about that? And, of course, in the second hour, friend of the show, pitmaster and winner of King of the Smokers this past weekend in Bikini, California, Joe Beland from Tippy Canoe BBQ Crew. TippyCanoeBBQ.com, his website, if you want to check it out. All right, if you're using raw cast iron, season it each and every time. After you're done cooking on it, hit with a grill brush as it starts to cool down. Little pan, little Crisco, let it burn back in. Generations of rust-free service. You'll thank me. And also September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. Good night now.